Decision Plus has been and still is a leading stock market service provider. From training to coaching, we cover it all. Try both our software as well as our coaching site, completely free for 10 days without obligation. No credit card is needed to sign up for the trial. The trial subscription will be automatically canceled for you at the end. DecisionPlus.com, your stock market service center. Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try MarketGurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above. Market Vision Plus is the trading companion of so many investors. Make your fundamental and technical analysis easy with Canada's #1 stock market decision-making software. Research, decide, and follow your positions with Market Vision Plus. See the menus just above this program and try Market Vision Plus for 10 days without any obligation after the show. When it comes to day trading, Trader Plus is the right tool. Track 50 quotes simultaneously. Create dozens of quick lists. Display as many as 30 real-time intraday charts at the same time. Watch the action with candlesticks or bar charts as fast as 10 seconds. See the market by sectors. Use the chart models already prepared for you. Try Trader Plus for 10 days in the menu above without any obligation.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Swing Trading Show. Today we're Thursday, July 16, 2015. Today folks, we actually have markets that are slightly going up after Greece has adopted the reform measures that were obliged by them by the creditors. We're going to take out also the free trial segment there to allow you to ask your question. So if ever you have any questions, folks, feel free to ask them. So basically what they said is that the Greek parliament voted yes. So right now, the finance ministers are talking about a possible plan to give Greece 7 billion euros. And also the German central bank will have to vote for the $86 billion euros plan because, of course, Germany will give a big amount of that aid. And also inflation in the Eurozone stands at 0.2% and the ECB maintain its interest rate at 0.05%. Can we take out the free trial part? Thank you. Now, concerning the situation here in the markets where we have a pursuit of the rally on the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the TSX, yesterday on MarketGurus.tv, we have recommended some bearish ETF because the thing is, we saw this decline there on the markets. However, this decline was due because there was a lot of protests in Greece, so we were thinking that maybe, possibly, we might have the Greek situation, the Greek parliament that voted against the measures, and they might have followed the protesters' request. But the situation so far, even if we have a slight pursuit of the rally though, let's stay technical. Technically speaking, by looking at the Nasdaq, we're reaching the top of June. At this point, we believe that markets will have a correction. So might as well not rush or move to close all of our bearish ETF. This is why our bearish ETF that we recommended, such as SQQQ, we're slightly remaining patient before closing that bearish ETF. It's reaching the top of a downward corridor. So if ever we have SQQQ that goes below 2187, we're going to have to close that short positions. But we want to remain patient and not rush or move to close our positions among that bearish ETF, even if the Nasdaq is pursuing slightly its rally. In terms of the sectors on the TSX, which sectors stood out? We have the financial sector that is again standing out today. After the Bank of Canada announced a rate cut, well, all major banks have followed. And if you have variable rate loan with some of those banks, you'll have to witness a decrease in your interest rate because TD, CIBC, Nova Scotia, Royal Bank all have decreased, BMO, they all have decreased their variable rate to 2.7%. So those banks right now, they're not breaking out. They're in a neutral phase. However, the bottom on them is more and more solid. We're reaching the low of a downward corridor. And at this point, if ever you're getting into those banks below $90, this is the point where you're going to have to get rid of CIBC. But CIBC is definitely in a nice situation where you could buy some position on CIBC. TD is the same situation as well. Clear and solid bottom. $52 is the point where you should actually get out on a TD. Now, what about the railway stocks? I know yesterday we talked about a movement. We published a list on marketgurus.tv that you can have access for free among a lot of stocks in the railway sector. So far, those railway stocks are continuing to rally slightly. CNR, Canadian Pacific is still neutral. However, what we said yesterday is that those railway stocks are only confirming a bottom. So today we have two credible bottoms for those of you who want to buy some positions at the bottom. First of all, there's the railway stocks, which are continuing to confirm more and more that bottom that is more solid. And also today, the financial stocks mostly are banks after the cut interest rate. And the good news with that is that when they cut interest rate, that will allow them to have more business because they'll be able actually to get more customers with the low interest rate. In terms of the news today, we had Goldman Sachs that released their earnings. They beat estimates. So good job for Goldman Sachs there. Citigroup beat estimates. Philip Morris beat estimates. United Healthcare beat estimates. And Intel as well. Same thing too for Netflix. The thing about Netflix is that, first of all, it beat estimates. But also in terms of subscribers, it got 900,000 new subscribers. They were expecting 600,000. So that's really a great increase. And actually, that's only in the U.S. So we know that Netflix said that they were worried that the U.S. might not grow as much, but finally they did. We know they're also in talks to offer their service in India, which is a bigger market. So this is definitely something that we're looking for Netflix, and Netflix is actually a nice buying opportunity today. Genesis Energy, that company here is acquiring Enterprise Product Partners, a subsidiary of Enterprise Product Partners for $1.5 billion. I kind of don't understand why this company is going down today because they're receiving some cash. Novogen, they receive a positive answer from the FDA for one of their drugs. And Alpha Natural Resources, the company is in talks with some of its creditors because they're looking to have a last-minute financing because they're close to bankruptcy. Now, Colabor Group, one of the few breakouts in the TSX, they announced great earnings today, so the company is clearly breaking out. Now, is it an entry point on that stock? Look, we broke out. We have reached the 100-day moving average. We're already overbought. So, no, it's not a great breakout on that stock. It's only breaking out on its earnings. I think to confirm the strength of that breakout, we need 2-3 days of increase, but I doubt that with the technical indicators, the 100-day moving average that's there, the stochastics that's overbought, that we're gonna have that. So I believe that it's a short-term breakout, short-lived breakout that won't last as much. Magna Essential Technology, they announced a marketing campaign throughout the U.S. and the movie theaters because they offer 3D technology. And Magna International, they acquire a German company for $2.5 billion. The stock is going down because they're putting some cash out. Enbridge got a positive report from the National Energy Association saying that even if Enbridge have some violations, basically overall Enbridge does manage safely its pipeline. And Enbridge could break out only if it reverses its downward trend. Sun Life, they actually have a new contract with the pension fund of University of British Columbia. So they will manage about $2 billion. There's an activist shareholder who bought some shares on Extendicare, and they actually have initiated some discussions to make sure that Extendicare takes some actions that will increase the share price. And Raipachi Gold, they received some payment, but the stock has not moved so far. Now, with the situation in Greece, what is happening with the US dollar? Well, the US dollar is continuing to surge. Of course, this is something that's positive for the Eurozone. However, I think the decrease in the US on the euro is simply because the ECB kept its interest rate unchanged, while Janet Yellen in her speech yesterday in front of Congress said that it's really likely that the Fed might raise interest rates. So investors are rushing into the US dollar in the hopes that they will earn a higher interest rate if the Fed hike its interest rate. The Canadian dollar, after its fall yesterday on the rate cut, is pursuing its decline. Now, with the increase of the US dollar, which sectors are being impacted negatively? It's the gold sector. Gold is pursuing its decline, the gold sector as well. So bearish ETF on gold have performed greatly, not as much because right now we have an intraday rebound, but still gold stocks remain negative. There's Kirkland Gold, which could break down. Alastair Gold so far is resisting. So really small to medium cap stocks are able to resist, but Sandstorm Gold as well. But major cap stocks, I'm talking of Goldcorp, Agnico Eagle, which is our analyst trust, which is one stock in our analyst trust portfolio on MarketGurus.tv. Well, that stock we're continuing to hold on to it. It's a short position that is pursuing its decline. Osisko Gold so far is resisting, staying neutral. Definitely the gold sector is not a sector I would buy at all. I think with the less uncertainty that we have right now in Greece, I don't think that it's a sector where we will see a wave of buyers that could be consistent enough. And as I said also, if ever the Fed raise interest rate, well, we will see a decline in the gold sector because inflation, so far, there's no inflation fears. Actually, in the Eurozone today, we had the inflation numbers only 0.2%. So 0.2%, it's normal that the Central Bank of Europe maintains its interest rate unchanged. Concerning oil, oil started a bearish cycle yesterday. Yesterday, we felt confident to recommend a bearish position on the energy sector. Today, oil pursues its decline, so all in for bearish ETF on oil. Now, concerning the energy sector, it remains neutral within a saddle formation. It has not started any new bearish cycle yet, but this saddle formation could be the beginning of a potential bearish cycle, especially if oil pursues its decline. And oil decline could bring oil towards 1648.
Find answers to your questions by emailing your host at btm@decisionplus.com.
5 good reasons to manage your investments with National Bank Direct Brokerage. Commission fees fixed at $9.95 anytime for all clients and starting at only $6.95 for active investors. No administrative fees if you hold at least $20,000 in your accounts. Registered accounts available in U.S. currency. Powerful tools to help you manage your portfolio. Award-winning customer service and satisfaction levels amongst the highest in the industry. To learn more, visit nbdb.ca or call us now.
Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try MarketGurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above.
So welcome back, folks. So besides that, the earnings, as I said, from Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, Philip Morris, they all have beat estimates. However, all revenues are continuing to decline. So it's really not that positive. And this is one of the reasons why we still believe that markets will not make an all-time high. And this is why we're continuing to remain patient and holding on to our bearish ETF that we recommended yesterday on the MarketGurus.tv. Now, in terms of what stocks, what sector is going up today, there are not a lot of sectors, a lot of stocks that are going up today. Actually, the utility sector could be the one that could start a bullish cycle. But the thing is, the utility sector, first of all, it's a sector that's interest rate sensitive. So if ever Janet Yellen, the Fed, not Janet Yellen, the Fed takes a decision to raise interest rate, we might see a decline on that attempt to start the bullish cycle. There have been some stocks that are remain active. There's, for instance, Wisconsin Energy, which is a breakout, but look, there's a resistance that's there at $49. PG Corp, clear breakout, but there's another resistance at 54. Nextera Energy, a nice breakout though, but there's also a resistance that's at 106. Same thing too for Exelon, another resistance that's at 34.50, even if it's a breakout. So really in the utility sector, it's not a sector that we like a lot. First, because they're interest rate sensitive, and we know the Fed eventually is going to raise interest rate. The Beige Book yesterday showed that the economy is growing. So with those optimistic view about the 12 districts, we know that Janet Yellen said that to take the decision to raise interest rate is going to be dependent on the economic data. And if the Beige Book is so bullish, well, we're going to have, of course, eventually a raise in interest rate. So the fact that they have a short-term potential until they reach their former resistance, the fact that there's a risk that we might raise interest rate during this year, so far I don't think that really it's worth the time to trade this movement. But those, I wanted to highlight them because this is only where we have most of the breakouts on the American markets. Concerning the TSX, though, in terms of the breakouts and breakdowns, really, we don't have much. It's kind of here and there everywhere. We have, for instance, some stocks in the industrial sector, such as Student Trends, that is breaking out for a target of 625 for Student Trends. Collaborative Group, I definitely don't like that breakout. No, forget Dundee Reed. In terms of breakdowns, do we have some that are nice? Chemtrade Logistics, but the thing is that there have been so many support here that have been tested many times on a stock like that, so I doubt that we could definitely have this selling momentum that could bring that stock lower. Absolute Software, wow, there might be a news on that company. The fact that it's losing 10.73% makes me doubtful, but definitely, whoa, the technical indicators are so nice on a stock like that. We could have a target towards 757 that corresponds to that former resistance. So that could be the target, 757. So from 779 to 750, you don't have a 10%. The stock is already losing 10%, and you don't have a 10% before the stock reaches that target of 750. So in terms of risk-reward potential, it's not that great on a stock like Absolute Software. Now, GK has a question here about the WGA. WestJet Airline, 3-year low, $23 for a buy soon. Look, 20-year low, is it a buy soon? First, what I'm seeing that's negative is that this important downward corridor, we have reversed it. True, we're reaching a low. Now, what would be the target if that low can be confirmed as a bottom? Well, the first thing we could have the stock that could surge towards $25. That will be the first target just by putting the Fibonacci retracement. But do we have those conditions yet? First of all, the good thing is that we're pursuing the decline, but volumes are still declining, right? So the wave of selling pressure is becoming less and less present. Second thing, histogram is starting to be positive. So we're continuing to make new low while the histogram is starting to be positive. So this is actually a good thing for a potential buy. Another thing also as well, let's take a look at the stochastics. The wave of buyers is not consistent enough. So this is the only thing I don't like is the stochastics. But in terms of histogram, in terms of the MACD, this is definitely see that we're close to confirm a bottom on WestJet Airlines. So you want to buy WestJet at $23. I think it is a nice strategy. $22.50 below that support. You're going to have to get out on WestJet Airlines, but make sure you respect that point because below $22.50, it's going to be negative. One thing that could actually allow WestJet to pursue its rally is the weakness that we see on oil. If ever it can continue, of course, it's going to be so positive for WestJet because we know that fuel costs are a big cost for airline companies. So if ever we have the oil that pursues its decline, I think definitely WestJet can confirm a bottom. $23 as a buy, but $22.50 as your exit point below that important support of 3 years. Now, as for the best day trade of the day, there have been several ones. We had CGG that performed well, but our best pick so far has been VLTC. If we take a look at that stock intraday-wise, though, we did have several entry points on that stock. One entry point here, another one there, and another one there. So 3 entry points in that stock, even if markets so far are staying flat mostly, but that stock did perform well, and it was recommended on the marketgurus.tv since opening. So overall, folks, we believe that it's a moment to continue to hold on to your positions. No sectors are standing out, except that if you want to buy some stocks on the financial sector on the Canadian side, I think it's a great timing to do so. Railway stocks also confirming a more solid bottom. And in terms of the other sectors, though, if you, let's say you bought some bearish ETF yesterday on the American markets, I don't think you should rush to close those positions, because even if companies are continuing to beat estimates, their revenues are declining. This is negative. Also, NASDAQ, which is the strongest index, is reaching a peak, and we believe a correction is likely, and this is why we think you should remain patient before closing all those bearish ETF ahead of having a confirmation that the NASDAQ and other indices could actually make a new high. So that said, see you tomorrow at 12:30 on the Swing Trading Show on DecisionPlus.com.